What's up, everybody? Ryan Kruesi Originals. This is part 2 in the STYLIN for STURGIS build. This is a Lowrider S that we were building for Law Tigers. This is going to be a giveaway bike. All you have to do to enter is go to STYLIN and STURGIS, go there, register. It's on the internet, and you can win this bike. It is free, takes no money whatsoever. It is going to be a full build, and today we're going to start throwing a whole bunch of parts at it. The first video is already out. We built the front suspension. That one is called What's Inside of an Inverted Front End, something along those lines. Go watch that one. It'll be in the playlist, STYLIN and STURGIS. Go check that out. Today we're going to attack as much as this as possible. We're going to start with just the little stuff. Foot pegs, risers, probably go into a fairing, and a whole bunch of big surprises. First thing we're going to do is get rid of these foot pegs. We're going to replace them with a set of Pro 1 Moto style pegs. These are a lot more aggressive, a lot flatter, a lot more ground clearance. These pegs also are extremely built up and very tall. So like the brake pedal's down here and you have to ride like this to try and hit the brake pedal, which we're also going to remedy that with an adjustable linkage from Green Brothers Designs. First thing you gotta do is remove this little C-clip out of the pen. These thankfully are not like the 25s. That weird clip. There's a spring inside. You gotta keep this dude. It goes into this little hole. You don't really have to keep it, but sure does make things a lot nicer. There is a hole in the Pro 1 pegs. Boom. They slide up there like that. And you take this dude, put that guy in there, drive this dude down into place, and then we'll pop the old pen back on. I love C-clips. All right, I'm gonna leave this dude loose. We need to take this out, Loctite it, and set this up. Which, wow, it has set screws to lock that in place now. That's pretty cool. So we'll tighten it here and then we'll set those up. But I'm gonna change this linkage out first, which I'm hoping I could do without taking this whole thing apart, but it doesn't look like that's gonna happen. So we're gonna pull this dude off, swap this linkage out, set the brake pedal to a nice point of action, which I think running this dude nice and flat would be just about dialed. So let me rebuttal on the jive that I was just talking. I'm gonna lock this dude in flat and then I'm gonna set this to this. I think that would be the ideal way to do things. Let me get some tools. She is disassembled. That's what it has, set screws right here in the bottom of the Pro 1s now that drive up into here and lock this little spinner doodad in place on top of it now. So red Loctite on this guy. That's a 5/16 bolt. That'd be 22 foot-pounds. Also makes it nice for torquing this guy because it won't make this forking thing spin around on you. So when you go to tighten this, a lot of times it's going to rotate, so you kind of want to clock it back just a little bit, which didn't rotate at all. It locked right in. That was really nice, actually. I'm going to back it up just a bit. Yeah, 22 foot-pounds. She's got a good flexor in there. So I was going to put these guys on, but the peg clevises on these Softails are different front to back, which is ridiculous in my opinion. But I guess it'd have to be because this one holds this one down, and this one is made so you can lock it up. So it works, but this guy has this hole in the clevis, which it's all part of this peg actually, and this guy. And then this ball bearing goes in there. And then you gotta sandwich this in there because this is a detent that locks this dude into place. We just ordered pegs because I don't pay attention to that. So I gotta get a different clevis for these, which that's on the way. So we'll get back to that, but I'm gonna jam this dude back in there for now. A little later on, first off, hopefully I don't lose those things because that would suck. We're gonna put on a Green Brothers Designs adjustable brake linkage. He was the first one to come out with the adjustable brake linkages for these Softails. This is one of the best ones on the market. It is the OG, and it makes it so you can raise this dude up and down, because if you see like, oh man, here's a good test. You pop off your hay dudes, which are pretty dirty because I worked on my lawn, but see how far down that brake pedal is stock? So I have to reach down. I'd rather at least be level or just a little bit higher. So then I can just go burp, 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 instead of like having to ride like this and then push way down here. That's dumb. I know, these shoes are the wackest shit there is out there, but God, they're so comfortable. Absolutely love it. Nobody has hated on these more than myself. And then my wife bought me a pair for like 30 bucks on Amazon. I started wearing them because I didn't have to tie them. I could just slide them on. And I'm telling you what, when you hit like your late 40s, not having to tie your shoes really becomes a thing that you cherish. Because bending over to do that, it just sucks, man. I'm like, trying to get to my shoes. So yeah, side note, I like these shoes a lot. And they are super comfortable. All right, I'm gonna disassemble this guy, and then we'll pop this dude together, and I'll kind of show you how to set it up and do all that stuff. Well, I mean, that made a little bit of room, not much. I seem to have put the jack right in my way. I'm gonna pop this dude off, then we can take it off and disassemble from there. Here it is. This is the stock linkage, unadjustable. You can't get really any adjustment of this either. I guess you could probably twist it out and adjust it a little bit. It looks like they actually put some more thread engagement on the front of this now, which before this was completely unadjustable. It looks now like you could probably turn this in and out, which would then push this back and forth. So you could get some adjustment that way, not much. So we'll toss that guy. I'm going to completely disassemble this and red Loctite these little adjusters. Man, that is smooth. Smooth as glass. If you haven't guessed already, there's gonna be some gold on this bike. Just a few pieces, nothing outlandish, like a fine necklace. All right, this dude's just mocked up right now. You have to set where you want it and then kind of put it back together. It's not like an adjust on the fly, which you could, but I want this thing set at this angle. So then we have lots of clearance down here. So, man, did I just nail that on the first try? I think I did. Shoe test is always the best. See from here. So I also realized I've been doing this wrong all this time. I always put it like this so I have lots of clearance, but if you put it like this, everything lines up a hell of a lot better. I think that's looking pretty good. Yep. Shoe's fitting pretty good. Let me just slip that back on. God, that's nice. All right, now I'm gonna lock some things down. I need some tools. Man, you want to see some crazy shit? I'm gonna have to redo this because this is how this bike came. Get down here real quick. There's no pin. This was just pushing against it. I was like, man, that's crazy. It's got so much play in it. It's got so much play in it because the pin is missing. This is where the pin should be to hold this to this dude. No pin. So that sets the brake pedal super high if it was sitting where it should be, but I didn't have the forking pin in there, so well, so be it. I don't think I got any of those pins. That's crazy. Yo, check this out. I'm setting this brake linkage up. I'm like, man, there's a lot of play in this thing. I got her all set up, you know, and I was like, it feels weird. There's no pin in it. That's how it came. It didn't come that way from Harley Davidson. This bike has like 1,500 miles on it. We got it from NPA dealer auction. We have a dealer license. They're supposed to be fully inspected. Like, it's a heavy inspection process. Somebody, that's kill somebody shit right there. That's crazy, crazy. Well, I need a pin. Well, that feels a lot firmer. All right, a little bit of adjustment now. Move on to phase 2. That was a healthy hit of strike force right there. Up next, we're gonna get rid of this stock shift peg, which kind of like the stock ones, but they're a little ugly and they turn your shoes black. So we're gonna run a thrashing supply. Comes in a fancy box. Fancy little dude. Looks a lot like the stock one, just modified. First off, let's get this guy out of here. Little bit of red Loctite, courtesy of Miss Paisley. Look how clean that looks already. I should wipe it down and clean it. Maybe that'll look even cleaner. I cleaned that with some Blood Racing Poly Clean. This has a polymer finish. It's kind of like SC1 or any of those. You just spray it all over everything and then wipe it off. And look how fantastic that looks. So back to this. Look at how nice all this looks. Now we're gonna get rid of this one ugly piece right here, this gaudy shift linkage, and make a new one out of a Green Brothers Designs adjustable shift linkage. First thing I'm gonna do is adjust it right now to match that one right there. So I already know where she needs to go. Oh, there's hardware in here too. Fancy hardware, come on. Comes with 12-point ARPs, air penises. I'm gonna open this dude up a bunch and Loctite this just like I did the last one, just because it's always wise to Loctite things on a vibrating Harley Davidson. On early model Dynas, they're all snap-on, but then the M8s come with actual Heim joints, spherical bearings, so they don't break. These don't break, they're pretty good stock, but they look ugly. But on a Dyna, they were all like snap-on and they broke all of the time. They were junk, so this was like a must have. On the Softail, it just looks way better. Let's get her to the same length. You can also like really adjust it a bunch if you want to get crazy with it. So that hardware comes out, fancy doodads here, the old ARPs. Depending on what color shift linkage you either get black ones or polished. You got to dodge these dudes, so you either got to push it one way or the other through the old shifting path, and then you can get them tight. Then we need a wrench. It's probably like a 3/8 if I had to guess. As Trent slowly pulls out the new tape out of the Kruesi Originals tape machine, it not only lubricates and stickinesses it, it cuts it to the exact length that you need. No more Scotch tape on your products from Kruesi Originals, folks. These guys are legit. Look at him go. KruesiOriginals.com. We've got all your needs. There it is. That's quite beautiful. It's all done. Green Brothers Designs, Pro One, Thrash and Supply. Made things really pretty. These are all available on KruesiOriginals.com. Green Brothers donated this to the project, and Pro One donated these to the project. We paid for that one. I wanted to have it. It could all be yours. All you got to do is go to STYLIN and STURGIS. Sign up. There'll be a link down below in the description. That makes things easy for you. Next, I think we'll throw on some risers. Let me drop this thing down a boot. All right. I'm in the process of removing the old stuff. Oh, that's hard to hold on to. Damn, why is she so tough? That sucks. She's just a tough one. I need riser bolts now. Won't be using these guys. Them dudes are permanent. Up next, we are going to put on some Archetype manufacturing risers. These are 5.5 inch tall, fully adjustable. I'll show you the fully adjustable once I get them on here and torqued down after we get that whole situation set up. We'll get the handlebars in. I'm going to run some grade 8 hardware with lock washers on it. Red Loctite on top of that. I got double film action going on. Law Tigers is also here. Camera in hand. Double the pressure today. I'm getting 2 birds stoned at once, they might say. These are some Arlen Ness stainless weld together handlebars. We bought these because they are sick as fuck and I want to run them for a long time. The knurling is aggressive, the welds look super sick, it's all stainless. Really just wanted to run these handlebars, so here's the candidate to do it. These are also available on our website at KruesiOriginals.com. But that knurling is nice and aggressive. Look at that. I don't even need to put the clamp on. I'm actually probably just gonna run them like that just to keep the weight down a little bit. I've been wanting to put these handlebars on a bike for a long time, but all of the bikes that we've done have recently, like for myself or anything, have been either black, chrome, or some sort of color. Man, that thing feels like shit. Hold on. Something's going on here. The trials and tribulations of the stainless bolt. All right. Oh yeah. So I really wanted to use these handlebars for a long time, but I haven't really had a bike that kind of fit the motif of a stainless set of handlebars. So when the talks of building this bike came up, I knew exactly what I was going to do. So I'm building this bike for these handlebars because I've wanted to use these for a long time. I think they're super dope. And we basically designed the bike around it. Rudely, June's phone is interrupting this whole entire conversation. Well, we all got new computers here at the shop because my charger fried my computer. And then June's like, my computer wouldn't charge. I'm like, my computer's screwed. She's like, maybe it's just your charger. I'll try it on my computer. And she plugged it into her computer and her computer went, and it was toast too. Fried the motherboards on both our computers. These risers are my favorite because they are adjustable. And it makes a huge difference. For me, especially, I have a titanium neck, so my hands got to be kind of in the right spot or I can't feel them. So it's really nice to be able to set the bars right where you want them. Which I'm going to set this bike up for me, how I would ride it and how I like it. The mystery is out. I'm 6 foot, so this is going to be for 6 footer, or you know, no matter how tall you are, you might like it. You know what I don't like, man? The Slow Rider, the seat is so far back, like deep in back. Like even with these things back, it's still not back really. I hate that I have to reach for handlebars. That's why I prefer the Fat Bob. All right, I'm gonna torque those to 45 foot-pounds. They are a 1/2 inch bolt. Man, that knurling is aggressive. Probably don't need the riser cap. There we go. Handlebars are sick. That whole setup is dope. They have a gauge relocation, so this dude will be up here, not in this thing, but she'll be sitting up here like this. That's still on the way. Oh, and the clutch lever reaches pretty much. Almost, probably not. I got more. It's pretty good. If you guys don't follow the channel, or maybe you're new to the channel, we are not these people at all. This is not shredding whatsoever. This is just uncomfortably riding. We do a lot of stunt riding and a lot of racing and a lot of really high performance Harley Davidson stuff. And when people say high performance Harley Davidsons, if they're not performing on the Harley Davidson, they're full of shit. So look into who we are and what we do. We definitely shred on motorcycles. So that's how we set up handlebars. And if you want them taller, you can just adjust them and move them forward and set them up taller however you want them for your height. But for me, this is dialed. I got short arms. This feels pretty good. I would prefer one of our seats, but we already had the San Diego custom seat on here, so we're gonna run it, but ours would be a little more up on the bars. This dude's a little deep for my taste, but that is a sick set of handlebars. Oh, this bike's gonna be dope. I'm gonna blow some people's minds. I do have oh man, I got a real fancy cable I could throw in this thing too. Maybe. I'm gonna need a longer cable, like a couple inches. Pretty standard what everybody needs, you know? Let's check out the brakes. I'm probably gonna have to order a bunch of cables for this dude. Let me reach through my satchels. Oh, can I make it work? I think I can. It would be real dope not to have to put a brake line on this. Yeah, just a little bit of, I'm pretty manipulative. So my wife says anyways. So I think I got her dialed. That worked. I just bent up the bracket just a little bit, the hard part of the line where it goes into the ABS-T, and it gave me the length that I needed. Man, just think how much happier you'd be at home, maybe in the marriage and everything, if you could just bend it up from the bottom and get a little more length. Looks clean. Clutch cable part sucks. Let me check some cables real quick, see what I got on the wall. So that sounds like a job for J&P Cycles. Oh, J&P Cycles over there. Get a couple clutch cables. Man, it is just so close too. So close, yet so far away. Up next on installing a lot of trinkets and knickknacks onto this Lowrider S, we've got some PSR Anthem levers. I've never used these before. They looked nice. They're very adjustable and ratchety. We're gonna put the clutch on right now and try them out. Looks like they come with all the stuff in them. Let me double check if this is needed. Yep. Clutch cable's not gonna reach. We did luck out with the brake line. That was really nice. Really nice. Clutch cable is this much too short. So I'm gonna get one that's 2 inches over just so I have a little more drop down in there and make it just even more presentable. All right, well, we had to pivot. Trent's trying to hit up Harley Davidson right now for a clutch cable.
Yep, like the 2-inch top half.
Nothing like calling a parts guy.
That's fine. Can we get one on order?
I would say I'd like to talk to someone else. Man, it's like calling a parts guy, please. Hey, I need a quart of Mobile One 2050. Oh, what year, make, and model? What? What does that matter? Does I just need a quart of oil? Okay, there's the levers. They're got lots of adjustment, which would be cool if my clutch worked. They feel pretty nice. Can't really squeeze that one yet. I wish that this was back here, but then they wouldn't have room for all this mechanism, because normally I would be... I will say Elite makes the superior levers, but these things are pretty fancy for your everyday rider. They are pretty nice. I haven't rode with them yet. They're a little square too. All right, what next? I need to put a throttle on. I need to run some more wiring. I don't know if the wiring harness is going to be long enough. Might need extensions for that. So one of the glorious things about the new 2025 Softail is this garbage is gone. It is on the outside now, external, like the Nightsters and the new baggers. So nice, because pulling this and pulling the harness through the handlebars at the same time is not it. I put a little lubricant on this guy because this O-ring usually likes to jam itself up in there real nice too. How am I going to go about this without the biggest temper tantrum? Yes, is this going to work? I'm jamming, I'm getting a twofer right now. These bars, one thing about them being stainless is they're nice and strong, so the wall diameter doesn't have to be so big, which means the inside diameter is much larger. So them things slid through really nice. That was really nice. And I mean, normally in most cases, pulling those two sets of wires through it's usually a bitch. They get stuck on each other and hung up and all kinds of stuff. Come on out of there, yerd. One plug through. That's all I got so far. Yeah, come on, little guys. We've got full penetration. Man, life has become easier since people quit using tall-ass T-bars, which those were the worst things to ever pull wire through ever. And ape hangers. Thank God we don't mess with that shit anymore. Because the old moto bars, oh, this is gravy. Here's a quick tip. Fold up a zip tie, pull your brake lever down, stuff that back there and keep this pushed back a little bit. Keeps this up here compressed so you don't destroy this button right here when you're putting all this stuff together. Kind of keeps her out the way a boot, and then you can push all this stuff together nicely, nice and nicely. Are they have to order it?
I think so.
This is probably a 32-inch cable. If they have a 32 and a 35, this is probably a 32.
Hello, it's Woody.
Hi, this is Ryan. How are you doing, Woody?
Mr. Kruesi, how are you, sir?
I'm doing well. I have a quick question for you.
Yeah, bro.
I need a upper cable, clutch cable for a 2023 Lowrider S, and I need to know how you guys are getting your measurements for your Drag Specialties cable, because I just don't really know how to measure the right length. I need it to be pretty precise.
Is it not showing catalog what,
No, it shows on every one of your other cables except for the Softail stuff, the two-piece quick release shit. You don't have a diagram.
Nice. Okay.
Because it says that this has a 34-inch cable stock, and I don't know how they're getting 34 inches. Unless I like really stretch out a bunch of things, and that's what I mean, like, is it to the end of the thing that hooks into the centerpiece adjuster, or is it the housing? Like, normally it's just the housing length.
And what's that measuring out at?
32. I need 2 inches over what I have stock on this thing.
Okay. Okay. Do you have a part number by chance?
What is it? 0652 2873.
That one's measuring at 30, it says 34.
Yeah, I just don't know how they're measuring it. If that's, I'd just like to know if that's 2 over what I have now, or if that's just stock length and they're measuring it a weird way.
Right. Okay. Yeah, let me see if I can get a hold of them. I'll let you know. All right, bro.
Awesome, thank you. To the street, Bob. We'll measure that out. I'd say this one's like 36 inches long, probably. She's lengthy. It all depends on how they're measuring it, though. But housing-wise, or sheet housing is 36 inches.
So that's probably Harley's 35.
Yeah, and that's probably 32. But this would be long. Man, cables are crucial. You can really ruin a cool motorcycle with a whack-ass cable job. You gotta have them dialed. Gotta be the right lengths. Gotta be routed right. Gotta look good. That's huge, huge. This mystery goes on and on and on. We'll figure it out eventually. We got time. Don't worry about this motorcycle. You didn't see anything here. On to the next piece of the action. This is, I think, all the knickknacks and doodads we're gonna do up there for now. Next up for the front is waiting on a cable. We did find the right cable to Drag Specialties. It is on the way. Hopefully it is the right setup. It's kind of a confusing measuring point on these new auto adjusters. Tom's here. Tom's stopping by. Hi, Tom.
Hi guys, I'm Tom. Good to see you.
Tom's getting a little more mobile. Hopefully be back to work in a couple weeks. Got a bunch of physical therapy. That being said, Jade Affiliated is popping in with some wheels. You can go to Tom's Instagram. He is going to be raffling off a set of wheels of any Kruesi Originals design that you want, or any Jade Affiliated design that you want, up to a 21 and up to 18 in the rear. No giant size shit, but 18, 21 max height. Go to Tom's Instagram. You can see all the details on there. You could win them. Also, if you go to Strike Force Energy and use code TOM, he gets 50% of all those sales also to help him out with his medical bills and physical therapy that he's got coming up. So, next piece of the puzzle, Custom Dynamics LED tail light. This has blinkers, brake light, running, and all the jive in one, and it's simply plug and play. I hope it's just that easy. I've honestly never hooked up the blinkers before because I don't use them, but this bike will have them. It'll have all the comfort features, all the shit that most of us don't use. I just threw away some parts that I need. Don't throw away this little foam dude, you're gonna need him. Old Thomas Moves Quick is here. By moves quick, I mean not very at all anymore. When are you gonna be back to mountain biking, Tom? That's the real question. Kind of sucks, man. The party of 3 has dwindled, so's the mountain biking.
I told them 2 weeks at the doctor. They gave me closer to 2 months.
2 months before you're pedaling again?
Yeah, but I like to push a little bit, so you know, we'll see.
Man, 2 months seems unacceptable to me, but probably realistic. This dude plugs in here. The blinkers and shit are plugged in over there. So let's see if this actually, we might have to like unplug those dudes and wire it into here, but we might get real lucky. So purple is always left because there's an L in purple. Brown is always right because there's an R in brown.
That's right.
That's right, Trent. You are right.
There's an R in purple too.
That's what I
Yeah, but you guys get the point, don't you?
But there's an L in purple and no
There's
L
no
in
L in
brown.
That's right. Big cliffhanger disappointment right now. None of the handlebar wiring is hooked up inside the frame yet, so we might not have shit. Trent's working on it, plugging away. This could happen. And we've only got 25 minutes until closing time because we changed the hours from 7 to 3 o'clock at Kruesi Originals. That's Arizona time, so if you're calling here after 3 o'clock Arizona time, we ain't gonna be answering the phone. Because I've been coming in from like 7 till 5 or 6 every day, and that's getting really old. So I'm leaving at 3 from here on out. Used to be 9 to 5, 7 to 3 now. That was all an inspiration of Paul Yaffe Customs. Went for a ride with him, and his guys work from like 6 to 2. I was like, God, that's nice. I go to the gym with my wife in the morning, so I can't start at 6, but. Okay, here we go. This is gonna be it. Oh, yep, running. No blinker. I'm gonna have to.
Blinker's still on the thing.
Yeah, we're gonna have to unhook those and wire them to this.
Break.
Yep. So, in order to unplug those,
It'll be easy. I bet that's what those other plugs are for.
yeah, you gotta jump them into
Like
this.
These plug into this. Yeah.
Yep. These dudes run, we gotta take the frame rail off to get to this, and I don't think it plugs in up here anywhere. It plugs in down here, and I think they're hardwired into the blinker, so that means we might have to get extra fancy with this.
Yeah, probably.
Well, I guess I'll pop a side cover off.
You wouldn't believe how much Crown Royal we drank to get all these bags.
Not a bit. That shit is gross.
It is nasty.
Always looked at as a delicacy in Minnesota.
Really?
Dallas, yeah.
Oh yeah, same. Sweet Home, Oregon. They all thought they really had something. I got a ball of Crown. I'm like, oh, that's just straight dog shit though.
Johnny Walker.
Oh yeah. Never
Used to drink a lot of Crown and blueberry Red Bull mixed together. It was a really good drink. Oh, there's that bolt on the inside.
Oh yeah, that's a cocksucker.
Out of all my friends and everyone I know that I went to school with, myself and Mark Matthews are the only ones in the industry.
Everyone I went to school with, I'm the only one still in the industry.
It's not odds, it's lazy. None of them wanted to do what it really takes. I need a T30. We have me a T30.
I think that's what separates a lot of the motorcycle industry. The doers find each other.
The doers find each other. Well, this ain't it. So what in the fork am I supposed to do? Hardwire them in? That sucks.
I bet there's a harness adapter.
Who's got it?
40-minute lead.
All right, well, that being said, I'll get back to you tomorrow. See you tomorrow. We're back. It's a couple days later. Stopped and worked on something else, did some other stuff, but now we're back on this thing. What we've got is handlebars, Ness bars, archetype risers, nothing on the front end. Just put this stealth exhaust on. I did this morning, like early this morning when no one was here. You've seen us put a million stealth pipes on, but she is on. She looks beautiful. The fitment was really nice. It was pretty easy to put on. I also installed a Thunder Max. That is installed over on the other side. We already did that. Wideband O2s, everything is in there ready to go. We need to load a map on that, but we fly out to Tennessee next Wednesday. We're gonna go train with Thunder Max. We're going through the Thunder Max school for the tuning school and all that. It's gonna be super dope. So then we'll come back and we'll tune this thing. This will be the first one we get to play with our new learned skills. Put some pegs on, some other stuff, but that's where we're at. Right now, I got the wiring harnesses, walk this way, for the blinkers in the multiverse taillight back here that has blinker brake and everything from Custom Dynamics. Custom Dynamics also has this wiring in it because you can't run the stock wiring for the taillights. You'd have to cut them and solder them, and you don't really want to do that on a CAN bus. It's much easier to just plug and play. So these dudes go back to your stock plugs underneath the seat. And then this guy, which you can still route them out to the stock lights if you want to, or you can just plug them in and leave these dudes floating. And these plug into the taillight housing up here itself, which I need to take off. But the dopest thing this comes with is this. I was looking at it going, what the hell is this? And then I went, oh, they're magnets. Because then they go in here, take a look, and then the zip tie goes through there and you run them across here and you zip tie the new wires all the way down to the fender. Genius. No sticky bull jive or any of that. Just a bunch of these ready to rock and roll. It came with extras that I could use for something fancy down the road. Man, I should take this off and see which side of the taillight I need to be on. Sure, she plugs in right here. I need to poke these dudes through this hole. Will she fit? All right, brown goes to brown. It's brown and black, brown and black. You can hear me over Trent. Huh. They're the same kind of plugs. Oh, those are the out guys. Hold. So these little guys go through. These big ones branch off into something else if you need to, but we're gonna leave them unplugged. All right, purple goes to purple. Brown to brown. Bada bing. I wonder how much I can fit in this headlight. All right, so I jammed them back out this side. I want to try and fit them all underneath this headlight. That would be ideal. Or tail light, you know what I mean. Look at that, it's gonna work. A little bit of grease in the threads on these because they're going into plastic and they tend to get a little squeaky and sometimes they break the plastic. So if you lube them up a little bit, this is not something that needs Loctite, that's for sure. Oh, that's much better. Hear that one? All dry over there. Squeaking's never good when you're putting a bolt in. That was definitely the trick. You don't want to over tighten these either because they do break. They are plastic. Let's feed a bunch of zip ties to these dudes and get a little pre-game going here. These magnet things are genius. Custom Dynamics has definitely got you dialed on the lights. Yeah, those are great. Absolutely great. Now, where to put my snippers? And I even got some left over for the next job. That is handy because I could use these coming real soon. Probably forget all about them. Hey! All right, fender's going back on. First things first though. I'm gonna clean it before I put it on. Some polymer. Put a little polymeter on it, look at that. Oh, you know. Trent, I need your help. Getting over here.
You rang.
Just hold that side up where it should be. There we go. Dialed. Forgot a crucial piece of the puzzle. We have some Codlin motorcycles, little block-off plates. These guys are really nice. They lock right in. They got a nice little tab. Dude locks it in right there. They do not come with hardware. I guess the blinker ones do, but these don't, so that kind of sucks. It should come with some hardware, but there's too many variations, I would imagine. So I'm using a 5/16 18 stainless button head. I'm gonna put an AN washer on the inside and a 5/16 nut, and it should be dialed. Hopefully it doesn't stick out and touch the fender though, because that could be a real problem. It's too long. All right, I'm off to find a shorter bolt. I got it all figured out. It is 5/16 18 by 3/4 inch length. Goes into this dude here. If you could do this, you just gotta lift the fender up like I'm doing. If you don't gotta pull the fender off all the way for any reason. Those are real nice, little added touch right there. Quite like them, much cleaner look. And the fact that they lock themselves into place, like that style of thing's been around for a long time, but they've never had the locking tab. So they've always twisted and it's been really hard to line them up over the years. And now they do it on their own. It's magical. Sure cleans that up. Blinkers, tail light, all back here in this Custom Dynamics tail light. And now you don't have that big ugly ass things on the back because blinkers are just the ugliest thing on a motorcycle, I think, on the entire planet. But if you can get rid of them with still having them, it's pretty nice. Personally never use blinkers, but I've never owned a motorcycle with blinkers. Well, I got new bikes with blinkers, I guess, but I took all the blinkers off. All right, and these dudes up here plug in like so. Purple is always left, brown is right. I'm gonna guess that this one, because that's where it is the right side. Left and right is always from sitting on the motorcycle. If you're looking at it from the front, this will still be the right side, no matter what. It's always from the cockpit. That's how you call left right when you're talking about a bike or anything on it. And a few zip ties. Nice and pretty. This is my tuning cable. Plug into the Thundermax. I just leave them plugged in and then route them under here because otherwise you got to dig them out. So once we're done tuning the bike, I'm gonna use some Christmas trees right here, pop them in, and we'll zip tie it right here so it's just permanently back here. When you need it, you just unzip tie and get to work. But we gotta do some tuning, so I'm gonna leave her flopping for now. Man, that's quite a bit of action. I say let's pull this thing down and maybe take a look at it. Here we are. It's time to stop on the project for now until next week. Let's just look at it for now and just gaze upon it. Look at that. We've got a Custom Dynamics taillight. All the fancy wiring. A stealth exhaust. A Thundermax with wideband O2s and auto tuning. We've got some Arlen Ness stainless handlebars, made it up with some Heartluck grips, some PSR levers, a nice set of archetype adjustable risers, all held up by Legends cartridges. So far, so good. So there's a lot more to come. We're going to be putting an Advan black fairing on this, a Kruesi Originals K-bar, a whole bunch more Kruesi Original stuff, some fancy wheels, more fancy lights from Custom Dynamics. It's going to be super sick. Thank you, Law Tigers. All you got to do is go to STYLIN and STURGIS on the internet. It'll take you right to the website where you register to win this bad boy right there, and a trip to Sturgis, and a bunch of stuff. Plus, we moved to Sundays. We're only airing once a week, so we get a little more time to do what we need to do around the shop. So 2 o'clock Arizona time every Sunday. Tune in next Sunday, and you can see what went down with Thrash and Supply. Peace.